Sawasdee krap, and good afternoon once again. First of all, Happy New Year, of course. This is the first briefing for this new year, 2022, hoping that it will be a safe, strong, and healthy year for all of us. And thank you to Dr. Sumani for the Thai language briefing. So, of course, the first briefing of the year today. Hope you had a great holiday. Wishing everyone a Happy New Year, filled with better things to come. As there were many festivities and gatherings with families and friends during the past week, we encourage that all of you practice universal prevention. Of course, taking the ATK test regularly has become the norm now, before returning to work as well this week. If you're not feeling well, please isolate yourself and keep monitoring your symptoms to help prevent the spread of the COVID-19. Now, Dr. Sumani mentioned about the General CCSA meeting that will be held this Friday, the 7th of January 2022. And of course, important decisions will be made on this Friday. Many have been proposed already today during the daily meeting of the CCSA today. And on Friday, we'll hear about the decision of the proposals and the making it more formalized. One of those is, of course, about the opening up of pubs and bars. We'll have to monitor the situation in that regard. Another important thing is, of course, the suspension of the test and go, as you may have learned from the news. Now, definitely, there will be a continuation of the suspension of the test and go, meaning a continuation of the quarantine for people entering the country. Definitely, there will be that extension, but as we speak now, the meeting is talking about the date in which that suspension will be lifted. And this indeed will be finalized at the General CCSA meeting this Friday. So the test and go suspension remains until further notice, until the announcement this Friday. Until when, we don't have that information yet. Still currently being discussed. We'll know on Friday. I'd like to recap the CCSA meeting this morning. As you know, during the New Year break, we had a couple of meetings in the CCSA as well. While everyone was during the holiday break, the CCSA continued to work and monitor the situation. As you know, the numbers have been increasing during our holiday break. So this morning, the meeting discussed current global situation. Daily number of cases reported worldwide has significantly increased to over 1.9 million cases, confirmed cases today, with Omicron variant being found worldwide. And the overall situation in Asia, the Asian continent, remains stable, with Thailand ranked as number 25 in the world for the number of cases. The CCSA this morning also discussed a plan to cope with the rising number of cases. Some other measures are being considered and will be constantly adapted as necessary. Some revisions may be decided during the CCSA meeting this Friday. So please stay tuned for this Friday, the official update after the Friday meeting for confirmation. And regarding the Phuket sandbox scheme, hotels are preparing to propose hotel isolation measures for asymptomatic guests to help dealing with the lack of sufficient bed capacity in the province of Phuket, and preparing for the infection of new variant of concerns while continuing the operation of tourism business in the sandbox area. The related authorities have been assessing in the best way possible to address the public health measures to balance both health security and normalizing economic activities. So we thank you for your patience and understanding. An update on the travelers entering Thailand. We're in the Thai language version also recapped on this. As usual, we continue to closely monitor incoming travelers and the trends in imported cases. So come start of this year, from the 1st to the 4th of January, yesterday, 2022, we have a total of 32,627 travelers who entered Thailand. And there's an infographic there on screen for you. Of this number, 19,311 travelers entered via the test and go or the quarantine exemption scheme, 10,767 via the sandbox scheme, and 2,549 via the 7, 10, or 14-day quarantine. And we explained this to you last time, of course, 7 or 10-day quarantine, of course, for travelers who have been vaccinated or have not been vaccinated. There's the details on in that. the sandbox scheme, as mentioned, for the various provinces, including Phuket and these provinces. There will be a more number of provinces in entering in this sandbox scheme as well. And of course, for the test and go, for those who have already received the QR code prior to the suspension. And out of the total number of travelers you see on screen, 605 or around 1.85% tested positive for COVID-19. So it's still at a low percentage, 1.85%. And moving to the top 10 countries of incoming travelers to Thailand, up until today, the 5th of January, we have topping the list from Russia, Sweden, Germany, United Kingdom and United States, as you see the numbers on screen. For vaccination progress, the plan continues, administering more than 104 million doses of vaccine in the country already. And out of this total number, we had over 20,000 doses administered yesterday. Currently, we have 71.2% of the population having received their first dose, and more than 64.1% of the population having received their second dose already. So we continue to encourage vaccination and everyone to get their booster shot, third shot, as soon as possible, since the vaccination can reduce severe symptoms and fatalities. For the general situation, number of cases confirmed today, we have 3,899. You see that in the blue box on the left. Unfortunately, the number of new recoveries today is 2,508, which is less than the new confirmed cases. Nevertheless, the active cases currently being treated continues to decline substantially, now standing at 34,877, with 19 fatalities recorded for today, unfortunately. We have now detected a total of 2,338 cases of the Omicron variant in Thailand. A bit over 2,300 cases of Omicron in Thailand. And of this number, we have 276 detected yesterday alone. We continue to monitor reports on Omicron and other variants to adapt measures as necessary. And even though today's numbers in terms of the confirmed cases is back up again due to the Omicron variant, we can observe that at this moment, new fatality rate is fewer in the past few days. For example, yesterday, we saw the lowest number of fatalities since April 2021. So since almost a year already, lowest fatality rate yesterday. This can be the result of our vaccine administration and disease control measures. As for the top 10 provinces, we'll have a chart coming up for you. We have topping the chart with Chonburi province and Bangkok, Ubon Ratchathani, Samut Prakan, Khon Kaen. Those are the top 10. As you can notice, Bangkok has dropped to number 2 in terms of the city or provinces that have had the highest number of cases per day. And in red, it means that higher than the previous day. Nevertheless, we hope that Chonburi and Bangkok will not have continued high numbers. So as the numbers of people infected with COVID-19 is substantially increasing in general, even though fatality rates might be reducing, we encourage all of you to keep your guard up and getting vaccinated as soon as possible, keeping a safe distance, wearing masks, preparing for proper ventilation, opening up windows and cleaning hands, of course. If you have any symptoms, coughing, sneezing, do it into your elbow to prevent the spread of the virus. So just to recap the important message for today, that the suspension of the test and go for incoming travelers still remains. We had talked about the assessment on the 4th or the 5th of January. We promised an assessment on the 4th and the 5th of January. And that assessment, today is the 5th of January, that assessment is to propose for an extension of the suspension of the test and go. Now, no detail yet on extension until when, but that will be finalized and approved and announced this Friday at the general CCSA meeting. So hoping that all will be well, hoping that whatever we do will have an important impact in terms of prevention. Of course, this affects businesses, it affects travelers. We are aware of that, and we're trying to do our very best. The country is trying to do its very best in managing the pandemic to date. So we are in another year now. We're in the beginning of the year 2022. And if you recall, at the end of 2019, at the beginning of 2020, this virus hit us with surprise. But if 2020 was a year that something hit us with surprise, and 2021 was a year that we continued with our struggle, with our strict measures, our discipline. We hope that the year 2022 will shine a new light. We hope that this year we will be able to tackle and rid COVID-19 once and for all. Of course, Omicron is the dominant variant in many countries, but hoping that we will be able to contain it in the same way that hoping that we will be able to contain all variants, actually, be it Delta, be it Alpha, be it Omicron, or what may be. So hoping for the best in the year 2022 ahead. I thank you for your attention, and we'll see you again on Friday. สวัสดีครับ